Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Big So What, in which I will share with you something that struck me and share my thoughts on why I think it matters. This week, I was reading a number of articles in the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, and I was struck by the resilience of a number of companies to reinvent themselves during the current economic disruption. The first is a company called Castaglia Sfumato. By day, a scents and oils company. By night, a cool cocktail bar with exotic drinks. They were doing really well until they got hit by social distancing and closures. This didn't stop their customers, however, from wanting their really cool and great mixes. So what did they do? They decided to provide frozen mixes to clients who pick them up in these little containers and make their own exotic cocktails at home. They took a product that people loved and created a new delivery model. Wash B&B was open to help support Airbnb with laundry services. But when Airbnb tanked, so did their business. So they decided to offer services to people in apartments and condos where they couldn't get out to laundromats or deal with laundry themselves, such as the elderly or disabled. They took a model that worked and found new clientele to make their business boom. Wheelhouse makes tiny houses. They decided to extend their model to tiny mobile offices. With over 60% of the workforce working from home, they took advantage of the crisis to produce a mobile office that can be configured, ordered, and on site in 2 to 3 weeks. What a great model. All these companies took advantage of the possibilities. Okay, John, so why does this matter? Well, it's in the numbers. In a recent survey, Gartner found that 75% of B2C companies will offer some form of subscription services in the next 3 years. McKinsey has estimated that there's a compound annual growth rate of over 18% over the past 7 years, and over 178 billion, with a B, billion, will be spent on solutions in the next 5 years to solve these problems. In addition, we have found that companies are reinventing themselves. Over 90% of executives in a Trulio survey said that the crisis accelerated their digital transformation. Gartner estimates that 38% of executives will use costs to drive a digital transformation. So we know we need to do it. We know we want to do it. But the real question you might be asking is, so how do we do it? To me, three approaches stand out. Design thinking is the first one. Design thinking has been around for a while, and this systematic approach is taken to look at three different areas. The first is desirability, then feasibility, and viability. Techniques such as brainstorming and ideation are combined with rapid prototyping and quick testing to come up with new and innovative ideas rapidly and implement them quickly. The next is the art of the possible. In the art of the possible, we envision an unencumbered vision of what is possible, and then take that vision and look at various constraints and avenues to getting there to find out what can really work. Finally, is the concept of zero-based design. In this process, you discard incremental improvement and start with a vision of where you want to be 5 or so years from now. You then work backwards or backcast to determine how you can get there, working through any constraints and eliminating as many as possible to end up at an idea of this minimal viable process. Okay, so you ask, so what? Well, to me, this is a once in a 50 to 100 year event that has accelerated the inevitable. It has accelerated work from home. It has accelerated delivery models and subscription models that didn't exist before. It has forced companies to innovate. What we need to do is embrace it and act now. Now is the time that companies and businesses will either innovate or die. You need to act now. Don't be afraid to consider radical approaches to redesigning work and work processes. And like other companies, don't be afraid. Anything is possible. You can reinvent yourself and offer frozen cocktails. But what I encourage you to do is think about the possible.